Well, hello. Good morning, everyone. Joy to be with you all. Thank you for coming along today, joining us to collectively coming together to practice in honor of the International Day of Peace. So, good group coming together to practice for this. So, I think as I was considering what practice to do, it's kind of obvious, isn't it? There's no practice better, perhaps suited, than the loving kindness, the metta bhavana practice. And so I think that's the meditation we're going to do. So I'd invite you all to please find a comfortable posture and we can begin with our practice. So as always, beginning the practice as we are getting comfortable by considering our intention, our most meaningful motivation. Perhaps practicing for our own benefit, but for the benefit of others. For the benefit of the cultivation of peace in our world. And then let us drop our awareness into the body, become aware of the tactile sensations arising and passing moment to moment. Anchoring yourself in the present moment. By noticing the sensations arising in your body here and now. And already as an act of loving kindness, inviting the body to relax, to release any tension. Inviting ourselves to be still, to be at ease. And giving ourselves permission to set the mind at ease as well, to set aside all that concerns you. Give yourself permission to be at rest. And then just taking a few slow, deep breaths, breathing into the belly, into the chest, releasing slowly and gently out through the mouth. Breathing in deeply through the nose. Slowly releasing with the out-breath, feeling more at ease, more relaxed. In total, do 5 of these slow, deep breaths. And then following the classic practice of metta bhavana, loving kindness, we direct our attention firstly to ourselves. We can consider that beneath everything we do, at our very core, we seek happiness, comfort, joy. We want to be safe, we want to be at ease. We want to be happy. And there's nothing wrong with that in any way. It's the purest expression of yourself as a sentient being. And though we may judge our sense of worth based upon what we have achieved, what we have or haven't done, we have an inherent worth by virtue of being a sentient being, wanting to be happy. You are deserving of unconditional care, love, kindness, tenderness. You deserve to be happy. You're especially deserving of your own care. So I'd like you to just imagine, not necessarily in a very elaborate way, but just imagine, what would genuine happiness look like? What could it look like? What could it mean for you to be genuinely happy, well? Imagine feeling safe, at ease, totally at peace, satisfied, fulfilled. A sense of meaning, purpose, connection. To not feel you need external validation or you need anything else. To be totally, completely at ease and happy. Imagine that for yourself. And with that vision in mind, arouse the yearning, the heart, the wish of loving kindness, which says, may it be so. May I have genuine happiness and its causes. May I be well, may I be safe, may I be at ease. Using whatever words resonate most. Breathing life into this vision, wishing that it may indeed be so. Really allowing the heart and mind to flower in this unconditionality of loving kindness. May I be well, happy and safe. Full stop. Not only if I do this, I'm good enough at that. Unconditional. The next phase of the practice is to turn to our loved ones. So I'd invite you to bring to mind one particular individual whom you care for very deeply. Bring this person to mind and feel their presence as if they were here with you now. And as you attend to them, the real person, you consider all the ways in which they seek happiness. They want to be happy, well, and safe as well. And it's quite easy for us. We love this person, so of course we want that for them too. So allow your heart to yearn forth with this same wish now directed to your loved one. May you have genuine happiness and its causes. May you be truly well, at peace, safe. May you have joy. Again, you might create a vision in your mind. How might that look? What would it look like for your loved one to be truly happy? Imagine it, then breathe out that wish of loving kindness. May it be so. If you like, you might bring to mind a few other loved ones around this person. And just sending your wishes of loving kindness to each of them, that they may indeed find genuine happiness and its causes, that they may be well and safe. And next we turn our attention to the neutral category. This could be strangers or people to whom there are no strong feelings either way. So bring to mind such an individual. Imagine them here and now with you. This could be someone you see on public transport, someone, a distant neighbor, someone you see in the shop or the office who you never interact with. Or perhaps you do interact with them, but just to get what you need and then move on. Someone who you don't really consider if they're happy. Doesn't really come up. Bring one individual to mind and recognize that at their core they are just like me, just like you. They want to be happy, they want to be free of suffering. So let your heart continue to open up to this individual as well. May it be so. May you have genuine happiness and its causes. May you have joy, love, connection. May you be at peace. Once again, you might imagine it, envision it, what it could look like. As you let your heart yearn forth, may it be so. Next, we turn our attention to the so-called hostile category, or the enemy. These are those we have conflict with, difficult neighbors or colleagues, family members, politicians perhaps we don't see eye to eye with. So I invite you to bring to mind one individual, trying to choose something not too traumatic, something we feel comfortable working with, and bringing that person to mind, imagining them here and now with you. And there may be somewhat of a shift here in the way we feel. We can give ourselves permission to feel that, to notice that. But can we cut right to the core with this individual as well? They are also a sentient being, just like the stranger, my loved one, myself. They want to be happy. They want to feel safe. They want to feel at ease. They're seeking happiness in their life, in whatever ways, just as we are. We all have different degrees of confusion, greed and hostility and jealousy and competitiveness. But at the very core, there's a sentient being that wants to be happy and is equally as deserving of finding the causes of happiness. And if they were genuinely happy, genuinely at peace, as we described earlier, maybe there wouldn't be a conflict after all. So let that loving kindness you felt for yourself, your loved one, the neutral person, let it expand to encompass this individual as well. Imagine them truly happy, fulfilled, satisfied, content, at peace within themselves. Do we not want that for this individual as well? We really want to see them suffer. So imagine the possibility of their happiness. And once again, allow your heart to yearn forth. May it be so. May you have genuine happiness and its causes. And then we expand our heart outwards, using the Buddha's words from the Metta Sutta to guide us. May all beings be happy and secure. May their minds be content. Whatever living beings there may be, feeble or strong, tall, stout, or medium, those short, small, or large, those seen or unseen, those dwelling far or near, those who are born and those who are yet to be born. May all beings, without exception, be of good cheer. Let no one deceive another, nor despise any person anywhere. In anger or ill will, let no one wish any harm to another. Just as a mother would protect her only child even at the risk of her own life, even so, I cultivate a boundless heart towards all beings. My thoughts of boundless love pervade the whole world, above, below, and across, without any obstruction, without any hatred, without any enmity. Whether I stand, walk, sit, or lie down, as long as I'm awake, may I maintain this mindfulness. So, today is the International Day of Peace. This is a globally shared date that has existed since the early 80s, and it's a day for all of us to come together and commit to peace above all our differences, and to contribute in our own way to building a worldwide culture of peace. And so for me, there's something I think quite inspiring and powerful about coming together collectively as a group here, internationally. But today is a collective, not just the 50-something of us here, but people who will be gathering across the world. And for us to come together collectively to meditate and cultivate inner peace and to practice loving kindness. We're joining many other people who across the world today will engage in similar activities. And as His Holiness the Dalai Lama says, we cannot achieve world peace without first achieving peace within ourselves, inner peace. And he says that in an atmosphere of hatred, anger, competition and violence, no lasting peace will be achieved. And these negative and destructive forces, they must be overcome by love, compassion and altruism. And so we can see, can't we, how the challenges of our modern world are created by or exacerbated by individual human greed, contempt, ill will, hatred, mistaken views. Particularly our way of seeing self and other, this divide, this separation, as if it was more concrete than merely labels and ways of speaking. All of these different divisions of my town versus your town, my country versus your country, my gender versus your gender, our opinion, their opinion, my religion, your religion, all of these. And the great difficulties we see in our world, whether it's the military conflicts, whether it's social conflicts around refugees, migration, one social class versus another, or even one species versus all the others, as if us as humans are somehow other than other species. So all of these, and so on and so forth. This way of kind of seeing this division, it only serves to divide and separate us. We're so used to using these dividing labels that we believe them to be absolute truth. But at our very core, all of us occupying this planet are sentient beings. Beings who were born, who experience difficulties, who desire a life of joy and love. We want comfort, we want safety, who will get sick, who will age. From this perspective, we are all the same. No difference. There's no difference between you and me, between us here and them over there, between me and a migrant, between me and someone from any corner of the planet, of any belief system. No difference between me and my cat, or a cow, or a pig, or an ant, or any other sentient being. No difference on this level. We all seek joy, comfort. We all fear pain, suffering, and death. We all want to be well and safe. As the Buddha said, all tremble at violence. Life is dear to all. And he also said, if we ourselves, if we're seeking happiness, if we were to then oppress or deny other beings who also desire happiness, then we won't attain happiness ourselves. And it would be a great shame, a mistake. So I think if everyone in this world were to cut down to this level, if everyone was able to, if everyone was in touch with inner peace, as the Dalai Lama said, in touch with a quieter, calmer state of mind, inner peace, inner joy, if everyone understood interconnectedness and truly felt this unconditionality, this universality of loving kindness and compassion, which is just so open, so boundless, then it wouldn't be my land, my money, my food, my resources. It would be our, wouldn't it? Our planet, our home, our well-being. We wouldn't feel the fear or the constrictedness of my suffering or my happiness is in competition with everyone else's. As if it's only possible for a number of us to be happy and well, And so then we kind of have to beat out everybody else, and we have to make sure we're happy. And well, it's up to them to sort themselves out. But so the way this is kind of like the suffering of our people, as if it's in competition with everyone else. But instead, suffering and happiness take on a greater context. It's ours. It's a collective. And it's our responsibility as part of that collective to look after the well-being of all, to think about what is most beneficial for all, to see through, to cut through the divisions, however firm they may be, and cut right to the core and see that you're just like me. And I care about your happiness and well-being as I care for my own. If everyone were able to come together in this way, then we would have world peace. Of course we would. But how do we get there? How do we get there? It may seem impossible. It may seem even not worth trying. And it can be so difficult sometimes. We're surrounded by all the different types of suffering and challenges across our planet. As we spoke about last week, we can easily grow despondent, grief-stricken. Just as last week we spoke, our meditation and our talk was on hope amidst everything that's going on in our world today. We can easily think, what's the point? Is world peace even possible? Could it ever happen? But despite those questions, does that mean that we then shouldn't try? Many of you know the story of the girl and the starfish, the little girl and the starfish. I have a different one for you today. And this one comes from Wangari Maathai, who a Kenyan, really incredible individual, Kenyan environmental activist, women's rights advocate, and she was one of the recipients of the Nobel Peace Prize. And so it's the story of the hummingbird. And there's a wonderful video of her telling this story, and I'm just going to read the transcript of it, but I will share the video in WhatsApp, in our WhatsApp group, because it's great to hear her tell it. So I'm just going to butcher it if I tried to adapt it myself. So I'm just going to read exactly what she says, but then I'll send you the video so you can see it. So this is her speaking now. So the story of the hummingbird is about this huge forest being consumed by a fire. All the animals in the forest come out and they are transfixed as they watch the forest burning, and they feel very overwhelmed, they feel very powerless. Except for this little hummingbird. It says, I'm going to do something about the fire. And so it flies to the nearest stream and takes a drop of water. It takes it to the fire, puts it on the fire, and it goes up and down, up and down, up and down as fast as it can. In the meantime, all the other animals, much bigger animals like the elephant with a big trunk that could bring much more water, they are standing there helpless. And they're saying to the hummingbird, what do you think you can do? You're too little. This fire is too big. Your wings are too little and your beak is so small that you can only bring a small drop of water at a time. But as they continue to discourage the hummingbird, it turns to them without wasting any time, and it tells them, I'm doing the best I can. So her speaking still, and that to me is what all of us should do. We should always be like a hummingbird. I may be insignificant, but I certainly don't want to be like the animals watching as the planet goes down the drain. I will be a hummingbird. I will do the best I can. And so I love this story, just like the parable of the little girl on the beach helping the starfish after a storm. Where she's, throwing each of those starfish back in before they dry out. And in that parable, she's asked, what do you think you can do? Your impact is insignificant, it's small, it's tiny, what's the point, why bother? And she says, it may seem insignificant to you or to I, but it's the most significant thing for this starfish, and it's the most important thing for this one as well. And so we may think we have no impact. What is the point? But we're doing the best we can. And don't underestimate the impact that you actually can have. When we come together like this, for example, we may have a greater impact. Many of us practicing together, creating a culture of peace, a culture of loving kindness, but also individually. We head out there into our lives, our jobs, our families. Let us be an example of peacefulness, of universal love, of kindness. If we have the opportunity, let us help even just one person. Better to help one person, one sentient being in one way and make a difference there, than to say, I can't help everyone, so let's not bother. Right? This is a mistaken attitude. If each of us thinks that way, we can't do it all, so why bother? Then nothing changes. No good comes. But if each of us think, I will be a hummingbird, I will do the best I can, then your best helps here, and mine helps there, and theirs helps there, and then collectively meaningful change can happen. When many come together to perform small actions, that's when it kind of snowballs, right? And real change can happen. But meaningful change in our world, we can't wait for everybody else to be doing it. It has to start with the self. We start ourselves by working on our own mental afflictions, our own greed, our own hostility, our own delusion, which we share with those people over there who we think are the real problem. Right? It's easy for us to think, oh, those are the people, those are the issues. But we have the same afflictions. We know jealousy, we know what competitiveness is, we know what animosity is, we know what judgment is. And so we work on those within ourselves, whatever degrees we have them. We work on those. We work on our own uncontrolled desires, our attachments, our aversions. We develop contentment. We develop fulfillment, inner peace and inner joy that we can then share with others. And that's how we do it. And remember, as we said last week, there is hope only as long as we feel there is hope.